So welcome to everyone that's joined us this morning. Thank you for taking the time out. I think anyone who's joined us before for an ExtraByte, you'll notice this is a bit of a different setup. We're doing something different today. I think because we're talking about AI search and it's still adapting and evolving so much, kind of made more sense to kind of get everyone together for an actual open discussion rather than sitting down and telling you the facts, because there's still so many unknowns facts wise. So yeah, hopefully you'll get the best out of all of us here all together. So if you don't know who we are Actionable Digital. So we're a strategic B2B digital marketing agency. So we provide a full range of marketing services to national and international clients. So SEO, paid media, socials, web designer development, email, PR services, everything that you can think of basically. We're based in Stone in Staffordshire, and it's our 25th birthday this year, so we've not long celebrated that. Woo! EMD. So we've got our lovely SEO account managers here. So we have Jay Perkins.
Hello.
We have Jim Keeble.
Hello.
Sara Whitehouse.
Hello.
And James Alderman.
Hi.
And I'm Holly. I'm SEO Migration Manager here at EMD. So we're going to be discussing AI search, all things to do with AI search and how your strategies need to be evolving now that we're seeing so much change on Google. We've got a bit of a loose agenda, but like I say, we're going to keep it conversational. We're going to look at sort of understanding Google's AI models and AI search, AI mode, and then we're going to look at SEO best practices in 2025 with AI search in mind. And then we're going to give you a couple of little actionable things that you can kind of look at yourselves, and I'm going to get the guys to sort of say what they think you should be doing. And then at the end we're going to have an open Q&A session, so if you do think of any questions while we're chatting away, either pop them in the chat or jot them down, and at the end we'll do our best to answer any questions that you've got. So let's get going. So understanding. So in terms of AI search, what is AI search?
AI search essentially is a fundamental change in how people find and use find information and use Google. So I'm sure everyone's seen the different AI overviews that appear at the top of searches now. That is what we're talking about. That and using ChatGPT to find informational sources, and use how people are using Perplexity and the like to do so.
Right, okay. I've heard the acronym LLM thrown around. What is an LLM?
That's a really good question, Holly. An LLM is a large language model. And essentially what a large language model is, it's a database. And this database is fed with trillions of words, and the AI engines behind it, let's take Google's for example, that's called Gemini, that then builds context into all of these words and then powers things like AI overviews using the large language model. So that's how it works fundamentally.
Okay. Complex then.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm guessing these have evolved as well of late with all the advances. There have been sort of different versions of these LLMs.
And they're always learning as well.
Yeah.
Always learning.
Always learning.
Yeah. So we're going to see lots of changes basically. So in terms of AI overviews then, how is an AI overview different to regular search results?
So you've probably seen AI overviews when you're searching on Google. It's the little bit of the snippet at the top that gives you a brief overview, and in that brief overview it gathers the information from a number of sources. You'll see nowadays there are like very small links on there, but whether people are actually clicking through, probably not, because across the board we've seen a number of clicks go down, but impressions go up, so we're getting the visibility.
Mhm.
So people are seeing the informational results there, but they're not getting the clicks to the websites as much now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in those little bits at the top in the AI overviews, the links, they're tiny little chains. So when people are scrolling past, you'll see the impressions are going up, but they're not clicking them because they don't look like those blue URLs, the traditional links.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about. It looks slightly different now.
Yeah, it's not so obvious that
No.
they're clickable, really, is it? And people are getting the information they need, and then that's it. They don't need to click through.
Yeah.
Really.
Also on that, it's worth mentioning that not every query brings up an AI overview. It's only
Mhm.
certain queries at the moment and certain industries.
Yeah.
So
Do you think, obviously, a lot of our clients are B2B. Do you think AI overviews are more prevalent for B2B, or is it not as prevalent?
I'd say they're more prevalent in B2B. I think there's a lot more informational terms within the B2B landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously B2C, when people tend to be selling something more often than not, that is where the commercial terms tend to really thrive.
Right. Okay. So, why do you think Google is prioritising zero-click searches?
Money.
We all know why.
Yeah, Google is a business, and it wants to keep you on its ecosystem. That's why when we talk a bit later on, we'll use the word conversational tone, because it wants you to use voice, it wants you to use its Google platforms on different other technology. And also, I think the great thing about what Google does is it collects data all the time. This is another big thing with Google. It's collecting data on you all the time so it can sell more stuff to you in the future. That's why it wants to keep you in the ecosystem.
Right, okay.
they also want to provide the user with the answer as quickly as possible, because that's going to keep people coming back to Google rather than going to other search engines.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously you've mentioned that websites are losing clicks and traffic for certain terms. Does this mean that you're looking at other metrics then to sort of track successes of your strategies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for any business really, the fundamental thing to be tracking now is key events and leads.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest performance indicators for business success, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another one, if you're looking at brand visibility, impressions is a good thing to track as well. Obviously, visibility on Google, whether it's through AI overviews or traditional search results, important to track as well.
So, how does Google choose who to feature in AI overviews? Because I bet there's a lot of competition out there.
There is. Essentially, it boils down to something that Jim will go into much more detail later. But that's expertise, experience, authority and trust. And also your site, your content has to be well structured.
Yeah.
It has to be concise and get the answer to, as Sara mentioned, to the user really quickly. There's other things to bear in mind as well. You've got backlinks, which can be complicated to source, but can be done. And you also have schema, which again, we'll talk about in a bit more detail later.
Right,
It's
so
also,
it's
sorry, go on.
a bit of a minefield.
Yeah.
Minefield, yeah.
It's also important to just get the SEO basics right as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, if your site's not like sound fundamentally, then it's not going to perform.
You can't just forget about all the traditional ways
No.
that we've kind of been optimising sites for performance.
That's
We've
it.
got to have that there as well.
Tick those core web vital boxes that
Yeah.
Google does love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going anywhere. I
No.
don't think performance of a website's going to go anywhere,
It's
is it? I think we've got to think about the user. User experience is key.
And
as well.
accessibility as well.
Yeah, hot topic. Yeah, at the
Very
moment.
much.
Yeah.
And it's worth noting that Google has well over 200 algorithm ranking factors now, and it's always changing on the different weights.
Yeah.
So we have to think of things like dwell time, where the user's spending their time on the page. Google takes all this into account.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's really important that we take that user into the first consideration, but as James mentioned, schema for the search engine crawlers, so
Yeah.
it understands what the page is about.
Yeah. So, what about accuracy then? Because obviously, I think it was like last year we had that example of where someone had searched in an AI in an AI overview, and it was like, how do I make my cheese stick to my pizza? And it suggested glue.
Should laugh at that.
How do we trust what we're seeing, or can we trust what we're seeing?
I think that you have to take everything with a pinch of salt. I think you have to do your research.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just read one piece of information and take it as gospel.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, not just in B2B marketing or B2C marketing, it's in general, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's how we
in
use
life.
the internet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go, something profound on a Tuesday
Yeah.
morning.
Some life advice
Yeah.
too.
But at the end of the day, it's important that you are clicking onto these different links that are in the AI overviews. You're doing a little bit of research of the business and your clients. So coming to your site and seeing that you have the credibility, the accreditations, the awards, and all the fundamentals that make your business unique
Yeah.
and accurate as well.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, do your due diligence as well, I would
Yes.
say, and your clients will probably do the same as well.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. So let's talk AI mode then, because we've got AI mode maybe coming in. So what's the difference between AI overviews and AI mode?
Well, I'll start it off, and I'm sure we'll then
Yeah.
get into a discussion about it. But essentially, AI overviews uses Google Index, so it will scrape Google Index just as Google does now, but it will find relevant information based on those terms and summarize it and give you some answers. Really, as Sara mentioned, really quick, succinct answers. Google AI mode, which is fundamentally going to change the way that search works in the next, I would say, 12 months, once it rolls out later this year, we think. What it's going to do is fundamentally change the way that you and your customers interact with Google, because it's going to ask you questions about your search query. It's going to get deeper. It's going to ask you deeper sort of questions, and you're going to go with it. It's like a chatbot. And then at the end of that chatbot, it will give you some suggestions and some links. So this is where, again, we'll go into the EAT principles that you need to apply with your content. This is going to be really relevant. So it's going to give you AI overviews, is going to give you summaries, and the AI mode is going to basically be a search chatbot, which is going to change the way you interact with Google fully,
So
completely.
almost Google's answer to ChatGPT in a way.
That's right.
In a sense.
Also,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very personalised as well. So
Yeah.
depending on your like past search history, kind of your all your data, it will start becoming more personalised. So it'll be more difficult to target.
Yeah, that is a
Clients.
really good point. Yeah, yeah.
And we don't quite know how it's going to go onto the search engines at the
Yeah.
minute. Google might change it to another product, they might incorporate it, but
Yeah.
we're keeping an eye on it, aren't we?
From the research me and another account manager here, Tristan, have done as well, we used a VPN to hook up to the US version of the AI mode, which has actually already been rolled out, which was a great experience to have a look at.
Yeah.
Its AI mode is default on searches in the US at the moment. You have to opt out of it, or at least it was when we tried it. It's probably
Yeah.
changed now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's typical
Keep us
Google
on our
style.
toes.
But yeah, it looks like that will be default, and you'll
Yeah.
have to opt out and go back to the normal blue link search.
Yeah.
That
That's going to
we've
be
become
interesting,
accustomed to.
isn't it?
Yeah,
for
definitely.
all the different users we've
Yeah.
kind of mentioned before, like sometimes the older generations are a little bit sort of resistant to that change, and you know,
Exactly.
what's that going to look like? You know, it's going to be very interesting to
Yes.
see what it looks like when they roll it out with us.
Especially when Google want to keep everybody in
Yeah.
their ecosystem.
Yes.
They've got to be
Yeah.
very careful
They
how it
have.
all looks and
Yeah,
you know,
you might
accessibility.
see people move into Bing because they don't want that.
No. Can you imagine?
Well,
Yeah, that might
put
be
that on a
shit.
t-shirt.
Yeah. We'll see. We won't get too rash. So, in terms of visibility on these things, though, so how can we measure visibility in AI overviews, AI mode, ChatGPT? Can we measure visibility at the moment?
I think it's difficult to measure in terms of AI overviews. Obviously, you can do manual check and kind of see what keywords you're appearing for in AI overviews. However, Google Search Console is slowly rolling out an AI section on there, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that and see if there's anything we can take from there.
Yeah.
But also there's the opportunity to create a GA4 report. So for those that do accept cookies and come to your site, you can then see the traffic that's come from like ChatGPT
Yeah.
onto your site. We have started rolling that out for a few clients, and it's
Mhm.
something we will be doing for the rest of our clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can kind of see the data that's coming through.
Amazing. So just keeping our eye out basically
Yeah.
for whatever we can find to start reporting on this. I think we
100%.
will hopefully start seeing more and more tools become available as this becomes more of the norm
Mm.
Yeah,
in search.
I think, Sarah, you just touched on it, the manual research side of things is so important and so effective as well. Like, if you know that you're writing a blog that's got these particular long-tail keywords in, which we'll talk about what a long-tail keyword is shortly, but if you know that you're optimising for AI overviews, just do a little bit of a search around the different topics that you're discussing, and then you'll be able to see the success of your content as well.
Yeah, see if you're appearing.
Yeah, and that's on Google, on Perplexity, on ChatGPT, on Bing as well.
Yeah,
you can do manual research and everything.
perfect. So we're going to move on to strategy in a second, but what does this mean for SEO strategy? Do we need to be changing things up?
I would say to clients that using the word change is always scary. I have visions of tearing up SEO strategies and lots more work involved. I would say it's an evolution, the strategy really. I think right now it's about getting AI ready, preparing yourselves, preparing the content, as we're going to go into a bit more detail later about. I think this is fundamentally the most important thing. We already have the foundations there. We can help you obviously improve on it from a strategy point of view. But yeah, it's getting the basics right, and we're going to explore those in a minute.
Perfect. So, talking strategy then, so let's talk keywords.
Nice.
Yeah,
Favourite. So the bread and butter.
Are keywords still important?
Yes, they are. They really are. It's changing, we're adapting. We used to focus solely on the seed keyword and a few off keywords, but now we're looking more at a broader range, so long tail keywords and how those long tail keywords fit under those seed keywords. And just to give you an idea, I'm not sure what the next question is, Holly, you're guiding us here.
What's the long tail keyword?
There we go.
Is the follow on from that?
So a long tail keyword is generally more than 2 to 3 words, so it could be something like, where do I find the best toaster in Staffordshire, for example. Or
Jamie's new toaster.
I need a new toaster, guys. Yeah. So it's a longer, deeper question, and again we have to take search intent into that. Is it informational, transactional, commercial? Absolutely. What is the user searching for? That's what we need to think about.
Yeah. So what is search intent?
Search intent, I might as well just answer that. I've just touched on that briefly. Search intent is the search engine trying to understand what the user is inputting. So if I put best toaster, for example, it will give me listicle articles of the best toasters, 1 to 10, and normally it will give you 10 links. But if I answer something or input something informational, how do I change my hair colour to white, it will give me information, and that's starting to appear in the AI at the top now.
Okay.
And with
search intent.
So with those as well, you'd probably start getting videos when you start asking how-to questions.
Definitely start seeing more of those different types of search results that aren't just an article. Yeah.
It's very much we're leaning more towards videos now, but I won't go too off the top.
Just to add to that, I'm at an age where I search for how do I turn my hair colour to dark.
Oh yeah, opposites.
You're going to get a video.
Just for men.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I know it.
So, sort of on the same sort of ilk as as keywords. What about content clusters? Jim, I know you're a bit of an expert on content clusters.
Yeah, so on content clusters, it comes back to what Jay was saying about a seed keyword. There's a real power in creating something called topical authority. So topical authority is how Google perceives the strength of your website to talk about an area, essentially. So for ExtraMile, we have quite a good topical authority on social media strategies and SEO strategies. So when we are creating new blog content around SEO topics or social media topics, we link to it from the SEO or social media page, and then we link between the different blogs that we write about the particular area.
Yeah. That's
called a cluster. That's typically 4 or 5 or more pieces of content within an area, all linking between themselves. And it's a great way of demonstrating that you have expertise in an area and you are authoritative in an area, and that all ties back to Google's EEAT guidelines as well.
Yes.
So let's talk content now. We've kind of moved on to that. So on-page content, are we structuring on-page content differently now to try and appease sort of AI search?
I would say no. I would say the fundamentals of a web page are very much the same. You know, in terms of hierarchy, in terms of headers. You were always going to start with the H1, work your way down, H2, introducing new topics that you would discuss in a H3 tag, things like that. I think the fundamentals are very much the same.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's a few nuances to that. Maybe we're including more questions in the H2 tags, H3 tags.
Yeah.
But, you know, the fundamentals are quite similar.
Yeah.
Also, if it's like a really long piece of content, you can add summaries to the top, which can help AI overviews kind of quickly scan what that article is about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that could be a quick win if you've got some content already on your site that you want to try and get ranking.
Yeah, summarise.
I think it's really important that we at Extra Mile, we're not scared of testing things.
Yeah.
We will A/B test, and there's things like TLDR that we have recently started discussing, but too long didn't read. We can give short extracts at the top of the page, so we can give that user the information and the answer they want straight away, and then when they carry on reading the content, it engages them more and gives them more and more. So we're trying to keep them on our web pages for as long as possible until they move down the funnel and start to convert, or whatever the key event we're trying to achieve. So it's really important to understand.
So I know we've sort of touched on EE80 a couple of times. So Jim, you're our EE80 guru here at Extra Mile. Can you explain in a bit more detail what EE80 is?
I can. Essentially, it's a set of guidelines laid out by Google that says that it uses to say your content is quality. So the first E is experience. So that might be achieved by using case studies on the site, linking from service pages to real life examples. The other one is expertise. So that comes back to the content cluster approach. That's demonstrating that you are a real authority in an area. The next one is authoritativeness, which is always a mouthful to get out. It could just be authority. So that's having relevant backlinks to the site. And it's having good Google reviews, for example. And the last one is trust. So that is pretty much an amalgamation of everything. They're all quite similar words, and they're all quite, you know, closely related. But as long as you're using case studies, using unique stories, citing data, citing your own data and external data, and using the real fundamentals of unique content as well, I think you're really going to tick all the acronym letters off, essentially.
Is there anything else that businesses can do to increase their brand authority and trust?
There's one thing I would throw in, and it's sort of becoming more prevalent now with AI, and that's the use of forums. Forums, well, Reddit, believe it or not, is not owned by Google, which is incredible. But it has been feeding Gemini. They have a very close relationship where these large language models are actually feeding into Gemini itself. So it makes sense for brands to appear and show in Reddit, because you get cited by AI overviews in your Reddit posts. It's very powerful. Weirdly enough, Google looks at Reddit as an authoritative and trustworthy source.
I think it's the anonymity of the people on there. They're real people.
They're real people.
So that they're trustworthy. They're seen as a trustworthy source, really, aren't they?
They've got social media profiles attached to their profile, so we know they're real. And there's sites like not just Reddit. We've got Quora. We've got other user-generated content. We call it UGC. A lot of these sites are gaining a lot more authority now. So we're definitely incorporating that into a lot of our strategies now.
How about existing content then? So content that's already on sites, how can we make this more AI friendly, more appealing, anything that we've not touched on?
I think we've kind of covered it with like if you want a quick win, look at what content you've got and add those summaries at the top. Like Jim said, look at making the subtitles into questions where possible, and maybe just changing the content slightly, obviously, to fit that question.
Absolutely.
But
I would say as well, there's a little hack, which at the end we're all going to give our actions, and I'm just going to give a little bit of a teaser to mine now. Using Google Search Console to have a look at the page data for your blogs is a really powerful tool. Having a look at the keywords that you already rank for, and finding any keywords from position 10 to 20 that you could put in a more tactical and strategic place on the side, maybe in H2 rather than in the page content rather than like the paragraph content. And that can be quite an easy win to put that from, you know, position 10 to 20 onto page 1 and maybe even into the AI overviews.
That's clever, actually.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Do I give mine now, or do I have to wait?
No,
you have to
you
wait.
I have to wait. I'm holding.
Have to wait. We don't give it all
So
away.
keen.
We don't give it all away in the
Okay.
middle.
Okay.
So, I know we've touched on schema slightly as something that we should be doing as part of this kind of strategy. What is schema markup?
Yeah, it's if we had developers here, they'd be, you know, saying how complicated it is, and it is. But I'm going to try and simplify it because I think this is the best way of sort of explaining it, really. So schema, if you can imagine, it's some code that you put at the back of a specific Google web page or blog, for example. And what this does is it gives Google context to the content that's on the page. Because at the moment, all Google does is it scrapes the content that you've written and pulls out various keywords. And it's clever, it uses algorithms to kind of get relevance, etc. But schema really drills down into the detail. And we were talking earlier how schema is developing all the time. But if you had a product and you're talking about a product on a blog post, for example, you can tell schema the exact product and name it. That gives Google a lot more context, and it will realise that actually what this is, for example, warehouse software, is the product. And then it will use that information to cite on Google AI overviews. And there's various different other attributes that I'm sure someone else will chip in as well and sort of help me out with.
Yeah.
Help.
No, that's great. That's it.
That was very thorough. So, is this something that our clients could implement themselves, or is this something that we are best off doing?
I would say it's quite technical.
It's
And
quite
I would
technical.
say it's important to serve Google with the right schema markup and structured data. And I think it's one of those that you would leave to the experts with the experience to do, rather than kind of limiting your visibility growth on Google and for other like AI models as well. I think it can get quite intense, can't it? I know that
leave it to us.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Great point.
I think with schema, because it's written specifically for search engines and the crawlers they send out to read the web pages, if you do get that wrong, for example, I don't know, very, very open one, but a product schema on a blog post, for example, it could really send the wrong message to Google, and then it's longer to rectify. We've got more problems, and you've got to be so careful.
Yeah. So, is there a way that you can measure success of schema?
So for example, you could have an FAQ schema, and then you could start seeing the results within Search Console. You start seeing that there's more visibility for the FAQs, and also just manual searches as well. Obviously, like looking at rankings as well, you see an improvement on the page because of implemented schema.
Yeah.
I think another way is through A/B testing as well. If you've got two similar products or services, you put schema markup on one, not on the other, and you analyse the visibility growth, the impression growth, the click growth, the key event growth, and the overall kind of lead growth for those two areas as well. Because obviously it's quite hard to track the key events and actual traffic coming through at the moment because of all the changes to cookies and Google Analytics for
absolutely.
almost screwing things over for us
just
from a measurable point of view.
Absolutely.
But A/B test,
Okay. So let's talk brand then, because I know there's such a big onus being put on brand. Why is that? Why is brand such a big thing nowadays?
It's because it's becoming more visible, given the way that AI overviews works. Sorry, Jim.
No, it's fine. I would say it all comes back to that EEAT thing as well. Like the thing that Google's ranking is your content, of course, but it's also your brand as well. Like it's how authoritative it is, whether you're being cited from these external sources as well. I think it's imperative to have a strong brand position in
so
any
your
market.
brand is a ranking factor, basically.
Exactly.
100%.
There's an argument that it actually is quite a
Yeah.
big ranking factor as well. If your brand visibility is increasing and more branded terms are being searched and
Mhm.
clicked, and you're appearing more often
Mhm.
in the SERPs for your branded terms,
Yeah,
then you're likely to get boosted for the service and product
yeah.
queries as well.
That's why things like PR are important as well, because
Yeah.
although like you might not get the backlinks as much now, the brand mentions are really important,
Yeah,
Definitely.
and that all helps Google
Yeah.
see you as a trusted brand.
Yeah.
and I
And
suppose
Google's been fighting for many years to source credible businesses,
Yeah.
especially from a commercial point of view. So it's anything that you can show that you're a real business, you know, staff in uniform, videos of people doing things in the office, etc.
Yeah,
Anything to show that.
yeah, and I know
Google.
you mentioned video. I think we've spoken about
Yeah.
sort of
Mm.
multi-channel approach here
Yeah.
in terms of strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
social search is really a big thing at the moment as well. So
Mhm.
making sure you've got your social channels up to date. People might use them to search. For example, like some people are starting to use TikTok as a
Yeah.
search engine.
Yeah.
So and those videos are also appearing in Google results pages as well now.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Point.
Yeah.
So let's talk pitfalls then. What are some common pitfalls? Is there anything that we need to be avoiding when it comes to optimising, creating content specifically to be found in AI
Yes.
overviews and things like that?
Well, my opinion is that we don't want to rush into rash decisions, and we don't want to be changing things because, you know, we're going into panic mode. That's very far from it. We need to just serve the user with exactly what they want to see,
Yeah.
and we want to answer their questions.
Mm.
So we need the technicals right at the very bottom. We want the on-page to be correct with the keywords, and as long as we're doing all that and we understand why the user is searching in Google or LLMs, and we're giving them that information in the best possible way that it fulfills their needs, and we get all the key event data and
Yeah.
all that, then we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
in the-
I think, James, I think you spoke about yesterday, it was about finding that balance between having a conversational tone but not losing your brand and your brand
Yes.
tone of voice as well.
Yeah, it speaks to what Jay was saying before, and that is you have to be very careful because AI overviews is very much looking at conversational tone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're an established brand, let's take for example warehouse management software, you've got to work out a way of getting that conversational tone but remaining an authority and having that authoritative positioning.
Yeah.
So getting that balance. And again, Jay mentioned talk to your customers as if you would talk to them naturally. Don't talk to them like you're talking to an AI bot. That's one of the major pitfalls.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
think businesses can be, they can fall guilty of over-optimization. Like they're
Yeah.
always sticking
And that's
too
happening.
many
Yeah.
keywords
Yeah.
in the wrong places, and
Yeah.
it's just spammy. It looks bad. You're not answering any questions. And I think there's real power in just using schema to talk to AI scrapers and Googlebot, and using your on-page content to answer any search. It's
Yeah.
a great way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And getting to the point
Yeah.
Yes.
as well.
I'm just going to go another way and just say, like, you don't have to rush into AI and yeah, everything's shiny and new. Look at like the overall business goals. Like, what are you actually looking to achieve from your website?
Yeah.
Is it informational questions and brand visibility you're looking for?
Yeah.
Or is it more like commercial
Yeah.
terms that you're looking to make?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And base
Does it
it on
suit
that.
your business goals? Absolutely.
And definitely, I'm going to reinforce what Jim has just said. Do not over-optimize, especially for AI, because a lot of, I won't name names, but there's a lot of larger brands that I'm seeing on LinkedIn, and they're doing just that, and you know it's going to be a short-term gain, but long-term, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It will not work.
Yeah, it's got to be done cleverly with a good strategy.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk actions then. So how quickly should our clients or prospective clients be jumping on to invest in an AI overview performance strategy?
I would say pretty quickly. I know that
Definitely.
Pretty
Yeah.
sharpish.
it's happening now, and a lot of the fundamentals of an SEO strategy now in the AI world are the same. You know, high
Yeah.
quality stuff,
Yeah,
backlinks, building trust. It's pretty similar,
yeah.
to be honest.
It's not too different to what
No.
we have been doing
Exactly.
already for our clients, is it?
But you do need to get that strategy in place
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
There are
Otherwise, you do
nuances.
risk being left behind,
Yeah.
like you say.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put it to each of you. So if there's one thing that anyone watching today could do to get this ball rolling in terms of, you know, being more visible in AI, what would you recommend? So Jay, I'm coming to you first.
Ooh, I love
You
the
were
question.
dying to give this away earlier, I'm sure.
I love the question. It's understanding, trying to understand as best you can where your users are coming from, what they're searching for, so the search intent, and using tools like Jim mentioned earlier, Google Search Console, see what keywords are already Google is ranking for your website. And a little tip, what I'd do is I'd use some of those keywords, I'd put them into different search engines like YouTube, because it is a search engine at the end of the day, and that keyword, it will pull down a list of like auto-completed search queries. And for example, I don't know, how to make an omelette or whatever your website is ranking for. It will give you lots of different...
Jay's really in the kitchen.
I'm really struggling with these search blocks today. It's got to be the camera. It's got to be the camera. But yeah, it will give you 10 or 20 different search queries, and you can really start to form different clustering ideas, and you can even turn those into long-form blog content.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of things you can do. Is how you're giving that information to your user in the best possible way.
You could also use the people also ask box on Google
Yeah,
as well.
100%.
To give you a couple of ideas.
Yeah.
100%.
Jim?
My head's going in many directions. I've got so many ideas, strategy-wise.
Ideas, man.
But my main ones really would be use video,
Yeah. Big
use
one.
Google Search Console, like
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, and do PR.
Yeah.
Build some links,
Do PR.
get some brand mentions. That's
Perfect.
how I'd sum it. Those are my three
I mean,
actionable
I only needed
insights.
one, but that's what it doesn't.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Bonus points.
PR is, I'm going to jump on it, PR is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
These authority websites,
Yeah.
especially news outlets, media outlets,
Yeah.
getting those mentions in those PR
Mm-hmm.
websites is massive.
Sarah?
I just have to agree with Jim on the videos,
Yeah.
but another quick win that could be action straight away really is looking through current content and finding internal link opportunities
Yeah.
to like commercial pages and product pages.
Mm-hmm.
So from your blogs, the informational pieces that people are landing on, and then getting them to your commercial pages as well,
Yeah.
where they're more likely to convert.
Convert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. James?
Yeah. Well, Sarah's inspired me really. I'm taking a leaf out of Sarah's book because Sarah goes back to the fundamentals, and I think this is important. And if we're going to sort of give an action today, I would say look at existing top performing content.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do that, we can help you do that. But look at it and analyse and ask the questions that Sarah would pose. Is it doing the basics right? Is it answering the question really quickly? Is the tone conversational? That's a start. Do we have an FAQ section? These are things you can do today, and then we can talk about implementing schema.
Yeah.
And these things will certainly set you off in the right direction.
Perfect. Amazing. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope this has been interesting. I hope we've answered a lot of questions for you. If there's anything that we have spoken about today that you want to chat to us about, or anyone in the business, please just call us, email us. We're happy to have a chat. We should have our next ExtraByte in around September, so if you keep a lookout for that, it'll be coming to your inboxes soon. But yeah, that's us for today. So thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great day.